All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting to be back.
Today we're going to be looking at well-being of kids in today's world.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, relevant to everyone, whether you're a parent trying to raise kids in this crazy world or maybe even a young person who's dealing with some of these pressures firsthand.
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of different sources today. We've got articles about the effects of screen time and the kind of unique problems that kids are facing at school, broader societal issues, and even a glimpse into some of the really difficult situations that kids in Indy in particular are facing.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide range of issues, but, understanding them is the first step in helping.
Exactly. We're going to get real about the challenges, but this isn't all doom and gloom.
Right.
We're going to find those sparks of resilience and those glimmers of hope as well.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think kids today are dealing with so many pressures that we never even dreamed of.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think back to when you were a kid. Did you spend like 8 hours a day on a device?
No.
But that's the reality for the average kid today. 8 hours.
According to First Cry Parenting.
Seriously. Wow. That's more time than some adults spend at work.
Yeah.
It's pretty mind-blowing. I mean, what kind of impact is all that screen time having?
Well, it's not just about the amount of time. It's about how that time is being used.
Right.
What content are they consuming?
Yeah.
How is it shaping their worldview?
Mm-hmm.
And how is it affecting their brain development?
Right. And speaking of effects, First Cry Parenting mentions some potential risks, like tumor development from excessive phone use.
Right.
Now, they did say the evidence is limited, but it's still kind of scary, right?
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And while we don't know for sure about the link between radiation and tumors, we do know that constant stimulation from screens can really impact brain activity.
Right, especially in young developing minds.
Exactly.
The article talked about how all this content can shape a child's understanding of the world.
Absolutely.
Almost like molding their worldview. Yeah, exactly. And that's why the content that they're consuming is so important.
Right.
It's not just about passively watching videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how that information is shaping their values, their beliefs, their understanding of relationships.
And it can be a breeding ground for things like cyberbullying, which the Shout Out UK article really highlighted as a major issue.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like the schoolyard bully got a digital megaphone.
Yeah, the anonymity and the reach of the internet can amplify the hurt.
Right.
Making cyberbullying especially insidious.
Yeah.
It can have a devastating impact on a child's self-esteem.
Right.
Their mental health, even their sense of safety.
It's a lot. But before we spiral into despair here, First Cry Parenting does remind us that smartphones can be valuable learning tools.
Oh, for sure.
It's all about finding that balance, right?
Exactly. Parental controls, setting healthy screen time limits, encouraging other activities.
Right.
Those are all crucial steps in harnessing the power of technology without letting it completely take over.
So it's like anything else, moderation is key.
Moderation is key.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit here and talk about the pressure cooker of school.
Oh, yeah.
This article from Lead Group really resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about academics anymore. It's this whole social minefield they have to navigate.
Yeah, remember that feeling of being the new kid?
Oh, yeah.
Or that pressure to fit in, be cool, wear the right clothes. These feelings haven't gone away.
Oh, I remember it vividly. I was such a geek in middle school. And the social pecking order, it felt like life or death.
Right.
And you know what Lead Group says? Those feelings are even more amplified today thanks to social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's the comparison game on steroids.
Right.
Everyone's presenting their highlight reel online.
Right.
Which can make kids feel inadequate, anxious, even depressed.
Yeah.
And Lead Group specifically mentions the pressure to succeed academically, starting super early.
Oh, yeah.
Fueled by what kids are seeing online.
So it's not just about keeping up with the Joneses anymore. It's keeping up with the perfectly curated Instagram feeds of everyone you know.
That's it. And that can be so damaging to a child's self-esteem, especially when they're still figuring out who they are.
Right.
And Lead's article focuses on bullying in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
But Shout Out UK reminds us that bullying can happen anywhere at any time.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Lead Group also brought up something I hadn't even considered: homesickness.
Yeah.
It's not just a preschool problem. Even older kids can struggle with it.
Especially in those early years, leaving the comfort of home and family for school can be a huge adjustment.
Yeah, it's a big leap, into independence. And some kids need a little extra support to navigate those feelings.
It's true.
Having open communication, offering reassurance, maybe even creating a familiar routine can help ease that transition.
Those are some really practical tips. So we've covered screen time, school pressures, social anxieties. It's like a perfect storm brewing.
But we haven't even touched on those broader societal forces at play.
Right. And these are the currents that can really sweep kids off their feet sometimes without them even realizing it.
Okay, let's bring in the Shout Out UK article, which talks about growing up in this complex world. What struck me is how some of these issues are timeless. You know, they were there when we were kids, but others feel very specific to today's world.
Yeah, it's an interesting mix.
Yeah. Well, let's start with a classic: peer pressure.
Oh, yeah.
It's something every generation faces. But the stakes seem higher these days, especially when it comes to drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, it's like everyone's trying to fit in, be accepted, and sometimes that leads them down paths they wouldn't normally choose.
The article really emphasizes the importance of resisting negative influences, building strong self-esteem, and knowing that it's okay to say no.
Right, but sometimes that pressure can lead to some serious consequences like early pregnancy. And
it's not just a problem here in our little bubble. If we zoom out to the bigger picture, both the human rights careers and Vibhan Thakur articles mention child marriage, which is still a reality in many parts of the world.
It's a stark reminder that these challenges aren't confined to any one country or culture.
Right. And the impact of these issues can be devastating, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. Both Shout Out UK and Vibhan Thakur talk about the critical need for mental health support.
Absolutely.
But also the lack of access for so many young people.
It's a vicious cycle. Kids are facing all this immense pressure, yet they often lack the resources and support to cope.
Yeah.
And this is where poverty's ripple effect becomes even more apparent.
That's true. The Vibhan Thakur article paints a pretty grim picture of what kids in India are going through.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder that for many kids, basic necessities are a daily struggle.
Imagine trying to focus on schoolwork when you're hungry or dealing with social pressures when you're worried about where your next meal is coming from.
It's a reality check for sure.
It is.
We're sitting here talking about screen time and social anxieties.
Right.
But for some kids, survival is the biggest challenge they face.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of all these issues. Poverty exacerbates everything: access to healthcare,
right,
educational opportunities.
Yeah.
Even just the ability to simply be a kid and enjoy childhood.
Okay. I have to admit, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by all this.
Yeah.
What can we even do in the face of all this?
Well, it's understandable to feel overwhelmed, but remember, awareness is the first step toward action.
Okay.
And there are concrete things we can do to make a difference.
Okay, let's talk solutions. Give us some hope here. What can we as individuals actually do to create a better world for kids?
Well, first and foremost, start conversations. Talk to the kids in your life. Really listen to what they're going through. Ask questions, show empathy, create a safe space for them to open up.
Okay. Talk to kids. What else?
Expand those conversations beyond your immediate circle. Talk to other parents, educators, community leaders. The more we bring these issues into the open, the more likely we are to find solutions.
The Human Rights Careers article talked about advocating for policies that protect and empower children.
Yes.
That feels like a big systemic thing, though. How can we even make a dent in that?
Remember, every action, no matter how small, has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Contact your elected officials, support organizations that are working on the ground, even just sharing information on social media.
Right.
Can help raise awareness.
I like that small actions, big impact.
Exactly.
It feels less daunting than trying to solve everything at once.
Right. And don't underestimate the power of supporting organizations that are actually doing the work. There are so many amazing groups, both local and global, dedicated to helping kids thrive. You can donate your time, your money, or your skills to a cause that resonates with you.
So it's about finding what speaks to your heart and taking action.
Exactly.
And finally, and maybe most importantly, model healthy behavior.
Oh, absolutely.
Kids are like sponges. They absorb everything we do and say.
That's right.
So if we're constantly glued to our phones complaining about life or avoiding difficult conversations, they're picking up on that.
They are.
But if we show them empathy resilience, a growth mindset,
yes,
and a willingness to make a difference,
we're
sending a powerful message.
It's like we're planting seeds of hope.
Okay, that's a lot to take in. What stands out to you as the most important takeaway?
For me, it's recognizing that we all have a role to play. Whether you're a parent, a teacher, a neighbor, or simply a concerned citizen.
Right.
Your actions matter.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate the power of small, consistent efforts.
I don't know about you, but after that last segment, I'm feeling a little more empowered.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get stuck in that feeling of helplessness.
It is.
But shifting our focus to what we can actually do makes all the difference.
It does. And that brings us to our final thought for today's deep dive. We've covered so much. Screens, school pressures, societal anxieties, even the harsh realities of poverty.
Yeah.
But amidst all of that, there's one question I want you to ponder.
All right, hit me with it. What's the big question?
Think about everything we've discussed today and ask yourself this. What one small action will you take right now based on what you've learned?
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's a call to action, but one that feels manageable.
Yeah.
We don't have to single-handedly solve all the world's problems.
Exactly. It could be something as simple as putting your phone down during dinner tonight and really connecting with your family.
Right.
Maybe it's reaching out to a young person in your life who seems to be struggling.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it's donating to an organization doing work that resonates with you.
It's about taking that first step, no matter how small, and letting that ripple effect spread outwards.
Precisely. Those small acts of kindness, awareness, and action, when multiplied across countless individuals, can truly create a wave of change.
It's a beautiful thought, isn't it?
It is.
That even amidst all the challenges, we each have the power to make a difference.
We do, and that's the message I hope you take away from today's deep dive.
Well, thank you so much for guiding us through this complex and important topic. It's been eye-opening, challenging, and ultimately hopeful.
Me too.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, even the smallest actions can create a ripple effect. So go out there, be the change, and let's build a brighter future for all kids everywhere.
Until next time, keep diving deep.